We back at T. Make sure you iced coffee on deck with that oat milk. For today's video, we're gonna be checking out Jason A. Shout out to Jason A for the illustration that he brings to the perspective, into perspective. Orwellian technology in 2022. I'm not gonna be reacting or giving my perspective from the point of view that he's given, because he's just giving a general illustration of certain things that's happening in the near future. What I am going to be illustrating in this video, which got taken down the first time for not articulating my words more carefully and using certain things that they don't want you to say. Keep it at that.
During a new interview, billionaire Elon Musk said that his Neuralink company hopes to start implanting brain chips in humans sometimes next year. Kind of intriguing, but I don't think I get the first one. I mean, you remember the iPhone 1? Exactly, you know?
This is why they're keeping everybody connected to their phones and to their social medias. They're getting you more and more comfortable with being attached to technology, things that are outside of nature, things that are outside of who we are, which is just being natural beings. So if we continue to go down this path, once they do start to implement this Neuralink technology into the public, for public use, we'll have more people willing to try out the new technology, because everybody is just following this technology trend and this social media trend that we got going on.
You get the first chip, and in 3 years, everyone will be like making fun of you. You got the one?
It's one of several massive leaps in.
See, this is why they make a mockery out of it now, but the chip will be something that will be able to be programmable and upgradable through one implant. You won't need multiple implants. You won't need multiple different chips. In other words, in the future, we're only gonna need one phone. They're not gonna keep making new phones in the future. They're just gonna have one set phone that everybody has the same exact phone, and everybody gets the same information, and everybody receives the same news at the same time on one phone that is connected to the grid through the IoT, Internet of Things, or the AI.
Brain science technology that is literally creating a future of potentially infinite possibilities, and also concerns about how this technology could be used or misused.
They're saying that this technology is creating infinite possibilities. How can they create technology to, in return, be able to know that there's a possibility, or matter of fact, know that there's an infinite amount of possibilities? So the only way that they can create technology to have endless possibilities or infinite possibilities, they had to reverse engineer something. So what they are, reverse engineering is how the world works as far as behind the scenes, the thing that we can't see. What makes the wind move? What makes trees grow without something having to tell it? This is the shit that they say is infinite possibility, because it is all about what you do with certain materials and certain resources, where you can manipulate it to do almost anything, or an infinite possibility of things that you can do with the elements that we have. And with our elements that we have in this generation, we use all our elements and all our resources to what? Enhance our technology. So that everything that come from technologies came from the same shit that the cavemen had. Think of that. The technology that we using now is no more resources than what they say the cavemen had. which was just basic minerals, basic resources, and basic materials things, as far as natural material things, not physical, not materialistic things, but they just had what the earth already gave to them. So if we look at that and say, damn, we done came this far, and now we created technology through rocks, sticks, and other minerals like that. This is what I say is endless, infinite amount of possibilities. The cavemen didn't believe that there would be touchscreen phones, touchscreen TVs, flat screen TV, internet, where you can communicate with people all across the world. The cavemen didn't think that was possible because they were in a dumbed down state. They were in a watered down state of who they actually were.
It was the viral video moment seen around the world. In April, a monkey playing a game of Pong using only...
Well, I say caveman. Shit, nah. I said cavemen. Then what do they using? What do they use for their lab tests, their experiments? Most of the time they're using primates because what they say they're the closest thing to human. So if it can 9 times out of 10 work on a primate, it's a higher percentage that it's going to work, that it could work on humans. So this is why in return they give us books, games, and movies so they can illustrate certain things that they are planning on implementing in the future. They don't get these ideas and these illustrations for books, movies, and games out of nowhere. No, these are ideas that they actually want to actually come into fruition. So what do they say? How do you manifest something? You put it out in the world, and then eventually it will manifest itself. So now they're using primates to manifest a smarter human, a upgraded human. Yeah.
mind with the help of what's called a Neuralink. The device is Elon Musk's latest venture into a fast-evolving tech space. Tiny chips that get implanted in the brain. Sounds like something out of The Matrix, but this is not a movie.
Welcome. They said it sounds like something out of The Matrix, but this is not a movie. But this is what I just stated. They have these ideas that they want to implement in real life. So in order to manifest certain things, it's certain different ways that you must go about easing it on the people, or slowly implementing changes that ultimately are going to have a more dramatic outcome, or a more life-changing outcome, shall I say. Everybody don't think that this new technology is going to be dramatic and all this, or it ain't going to be what they portray it to be in the movies, which is every time they coax the people to believe that things are going one way, they're actually the opposite.
To the real world. Brain chips are part of a revolutionary field that's been around longer than you think.
Is this science fiction or is this reality?
It is absolutely science fiction that has turned into real science. What Elon...
See what I just say? It's the shit that they put in the science fiction movies. It's the shit that they put in the science fiction games. It's the shit that they put in the science fiction books that they actually want to come into reality. They want to bring that stuff actual to reality. So if you think about all the scary movies, all the monster movies, all the demon movies, all of the negative type movies, they want to bring all of that shit to reality. Not just the quote unquote good shit and never dying and never having to age and all this yada yada other mumbo, never having no sicknesses. No, they ain't worried about that. They trying to bring everybody's worst nightmare into reality. So in return, people will start to actually know what hell looks like, because they're gonna have a place in the metaverse which they're gonna call hell. And instead of going to jail in the metaverse, you're gonna go to hell, and then they're gonna send you to a metaverse They're gonna send you to one of their metaverses that's filled with nothing but all your worst nightmares. You heard it here first.
Musk did with these monkey trials showing how monkeys with brain chips could control computers with nothing but their minds. The first version of this happened in the 60s.
They act like that's some revolutionary shit. But hold on, it is. What you trying to down them? Nah. Monkeys, matter of fact, every animal controls their elements through their mind. They don't talk to each other. They don't do none of that. They don't talk and discuss their plans about what they finna do or how they gonna live life. This is all a mind connection that lions have with other lions, or giraffes have with other giraffes, or elephants have with other elephants, or how snakes be able to communicate. They all connected to this grid. We're already connected to a grid. This is why they're creating. That's why they created their own grid on top of the grid everybody's already connected to. So they're basically using all of our natural grid energy to feel their illusion that we living in. This is why they say it's not the real world, because they have put a false reality of technology in front of our eyes to make it seem like the shit that they actually created is real, but in reality they're just manipulating the elements to make things that make other shit more and more less tangible, or more and more less real, or more less connected to you.
And have you ever thought about being able to unlock your car or pay at the store just by waving your hand? Well, a body piercing expert is bringing that to the future in Lansing with a new product. Josh Sanchez is here for you with a look at chip implants.
Lanier was interested in technology, so he combined it with his love of body modification to come up with this.
I felt that it belongs in the body enhancement industry. It is an enhancement. The future will be based on it.
The implants with...
You heard what he said. I feel like it belongs in the body. It's an body enhancement. This will be in body enhancement in the future. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts if people going to be getting implanted and turning more into technology themselves, or being more and more connected to the grid. It's no but. This is going to happen within the near future. And like I previously said in multiple videos, we already living in the future. If you think you waiting to get to the future, by the time you get to the future that you expecting to see, your ass gonna be so far behind, you gonna be living in 1990 in the future, which a lot of people are still living in the early 2000s, but it's really 2022, but people still carrying on those same morals, those same characteristics, those same traits that they mamas and shit put on them, or put on us all throughout the early 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. Look, what he got this hair right here. See? This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the implant. Why exactly? So how do you use your phone? With your hand. Where are they talking about putting the first implant at? In your hand. So it's exactly. So it's not going to be anything that's too far-fetched for people to accept. Oh, I already got technology and this shit in my hand, so why wouldn't I put this in my hand? And I can just wave right here, and I can goddamn a holographic screen to pop up, and I can just start tapping. They had this shit in movies. This is what's gonna happen. And the more people that ain't even got to the peak of where they want to get in this past life that we was living in, which was the present. Now that we in the future, so we was living in the present before everything started to go a certain way. But now, since we're living in the future, people that didn't even reach the shit that they reach their goals that they want to reach in the present, once these future things start happening, they're going to give tooth and nail to do anything to be a part of all of these new futuristic technologies or these upgraded people and shit like this, because they're going to come out and these people are going to be quote unquote the smartest people, the strongest people, and they're going to be able to do shit that they've been wanting to have people do, which is what? Be superheroes, be superhuman, and all this other shit to enhance the person, but it's only going to be for the benefit of the people that got all the money. This right here is the mark of the beast. everybody thought that implant in their hand was gonna be the mark of the beast. No, they said the mark of the beast. So that means first you have to be marked in order to be summoned by the beast. So how do you mark somebody before you summon them to be eaten by the beast? I have to give you a mark, right? What is the mark? The mark is social media. The mark is everybody's social media platform that they hold so dear to their heart because they work so hard, because they got so many followers and people believe them for doing all the shit that they don't even actually do or the shit that they don't actually even stand for. So they have already, some of these people have already been marked through what? Their cell phone. That's how the beast marks you, through your cell phone, depending on what you're doing. If you indulging in accepting all the negativity and just putting more fuel into the fire, you are being marked by the beast. And this is why some people can make it to 100,000 subscribers and get multiple views on every video, because they know exactly what the beast wants. So guess what they're doing? They're feeding the beast. So in return, guess what they have been marked by the beast. By what? Your cell phone, right there. And this is the first implant we had. They implanted it without actually implanting it into our hands. It was a subliminal implant. The phone was a subliminal implant. The next implant will be a physical implant, man. Wake up, you heard me?
RFID and NFC technology can be connected to smart devices, and it can act like a virtual wallet.
You heard what he said? Did I just say that? I said they gave us the phone, and that was the mental implant. And then the next thing is going to be the implant, which is going to be in return what? That's going to be the physical implant. And they already saying the chip is going to be able to be compatible to get sync to your phone. So it'll be compatible to your phone, just like your Apple Watch. So you'll be able to sync your implant to your smartwatch or to your smartphone. So they'll be able to communicate. So then if your company is through goddamn T-Mobile, then T-Mobile can keep track of you through your chip, through your phone, through your chip. And then you'll be connected to the grid permanently, and ain't gonna be no going back from that.
The implants are not completely new. Employees at a company in Wisconsin were voluntarily chipped in 2019.
I'm here at a time in life when this was unheard of, when it was just movies as a child, you know.
You heard what he said, when it was just movies as a child. Like I said, man, they get these books, these games, and these movies, and these illustrations from shit that they actually want to do in reality. And come to find out, 15, 20 years later, in our lifetime, this shit is actually happening now, while we got kids being brought up in this future world. And if you ain't wise enough to understand what's going on, then your kids is going to be summoned by the beast through social media. And once they are marked, it's hard for them to let it go, because being marked is once you gain a following, once you gain a fellowship, once you gain a revenue stream that you ain't never seen, and then you can't stop. You keep feeding the beast, because you don't even try to implement anything else, because you're so scared that it's going to throw off your algorithm of feeding the beast and getting this revenue. You just stay on a one-track mind, and you don't switch from that. And that's to each his own.
So now to see that this is actually a thing that's happening and I'm a part of it, it's historical.
Experts predict that BCI has the potential to be a $3.85 billion industry by 2027, according to Allied Market Research. But with great promise comes great concerns.
You're going to have to share your brain data with private...
They're going to share your brain data with private users. It says mind control. In reality, we already being controlled mentally. This is why they have all of these simulations, which is social media platforms, so everybody get to put out a different version of themselves on each social media. So what the AI, the artificial intelligence, or the smart computer is doing is sucking up everybody's personalities, everybody's characteristics, everybody's traits, everybody's habits, everybody's do's, everybody's don'ts, everybody's beliefs, everybody's knowledge, and it's sucking that all up, and it's using it to benefit the person that's in control of those systems, which is the multi-billionaires that got these supercomputers and these AI control things that can tell them certain data on certain statistics that's going to happen in the near future.
companies, are you willing to share your brain data only to have a better interaction with your nearby devices? This is the question.
What are the other ways it could be used that causes pause?
The peril of this technology, the risk of this technology is if we push too hard, too fast, you can use it for virtually anything. When we go beyond trying to help people who are struggling, paraplegics, quadriplegics, locked-in patients, people who can't speak, to improving people who are normally functioning, giving you a brain chip as an example. It's almost downright frightening.
Engineers at Northwestern University have developed a flying microchip. It's about the size of a grain of sand and does not actually have a motor or engine. It flies around by being dispersed by the wind. Here now to tell us more about it is Northwestern professor and bio.
A microchip is small of a grain of sand, and it just flies around naturally with the wind. So this is how you know that we are in this illusion. They have genetically modified not only the food, the water, and our land as a whole, and our way of living. They're also now genetically modifying the dust particles that's in the air. So we don't actually even fucking know what is flying around in the air. If it's just like a grain of sand. That's any little dust particle in any city or town. So it don't take that much, or it don't take a rocket scientist to put two and two together. That it won't take that much of that shit to get around to do whatever it's gonna do. And say, hold on, what that shit gonna do? That the microchips, these is microprocessors where they process information through the shit that it comes in contact with. So if they got these things that's as small as a grain of sand, and they flying around touching plants, different bodies of water, animals, and different shit like that, then it's relaying information back to the AI system, the smart computers, so they continue to collect data on the earth and the elements around it. And if it come in contact with shit that's more within the city, it will relay that same information back. I'm assuming so. Because they don't have these microchips flying around just for nothing. That would just be pointless.
Electronics pioneer John Rogers, good morning.
Hello, hey, thanks for having me.
I'm sure you anticipate that this makes people nervous, that it's going to be easier for people to spy on other countries, spy on us. To those people, what do you say?
And then finally, technological innovations that
devaluing the dollar. Check out my EBITDA video, man. This is what I was saying in that video. Devaluing the dollar through debt. When the dollar first was created, back whenever it was created, early 1800s or 1900s, the same shit that we spend $10 on today was $1 back then. So in layman's terms, as the dollar became more and more